Well, dinner has been prepared, cooked, eaten, cleared away. I'll come back to this. I'm coming back to this. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I don't know. Let's bring this back down. If I go into Object Reshape and I bring these down to approximately there, I need to go into non-simulated stitch mode. Right, the white line you see, that's my trace line. I want that to sit at the bottom of that chevron there, because the bottom of that chevron is equal to the top of this one. Or is it? No, it might have to go a bit higher. So my brilliant idea that I had after I'd had food, which I convinced myself I've got to eat loads of, wasn't such a brilliant idea after all. Doesn't quite work out that way. So I'll leave that be. Anyway, I'm now going to pick up my tool again. I've reached the middle petal of my carnation. I bring it over to here. I right click and I've got a nerve jumping in the ball of my foot. Ooh, right click. Not that you wanted to know that. Or that I was out in the garden yesterday and I've got sunburned on my arms. It's been glorious here today and yesterday. Okay, now I'm going to use the Florentine again. Go into Object Reshape, that's that fourth icon along, and move that one up there, and this one down here. So I've got a straight up and down. And it's not quite straight up and down. It's just slightly off. Because I don't want to create too much downward drag. So I turn that off. And then I go and pick up my run line tool again. Drop down into this shape. Because, don't forget, I am intending to bring that heart shape closer in and extend the top of the calyx here so as it meets up, and then run my run line up to the top again. And I run it up to where I want to begin my new object. Place my cursor directly in the center of the digitizing maze. That's important. It stops any tie-ons and tie-offs forming, and you all know how I feel about them. And right curves node down the edges. Till we get to about there. Enter that. Florentine. Put one node down here. The end node. One node up there. Move the curve so that it dissects the shape in the middle. There we go. I don't want you, but you'll do, seeing as you're here now. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's you see to as well. And then tell that stop. And repeat the whole shebang again. Get into the maze. There you go. I won't lose you, don't worry. Down here. Up. And into that spot. There we go. And go and pick up my tool again. Now why am I using weave fill rather than satin fill? Well, we'd have to use the split satin if I used satin fill, and I couldn't get the curve shape in this if I used the satin fill, and I'll show you the effect that I would get. Satin, auto split. Okay, I will look at that in Visualizer. Now that's the effect we would get. It isn't controllable. It isn't nice. So that's why I used the weave fill. The weave fill is controllable. Now the other thing I can't do in this, and it is highlighted, there it is in my resequence bar, there's no Florentine. You can't apply a Florentine curve to a satin fill. It doesn't work. So I can't have that. So I go back into Object Reshape and I say, no, I don't want you after all. I don't really like you. And I prefer the fill number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 0.44 for my density. You notice I haven't changed my stitch length. That's because I'm not doing a tight curve. So it's not so important to have a smaller stitch. And now my Florentine has been woken up because it will work on the weave fill. So I go into Object Reshape. Now this is how I did my feathers for the bluebird when I asked you to do the challenge where I did the bluebird, and I said I would show you. Well, this is how I did it. I digitized a shape with the turning angle tool and weave fill, and of course to get my curve and the shape I wanted I had to lay it crosswise, and I'm talking about the curve around the edges here. But to get the angle I wanted I used the Florentine, and that gave me the plump feathers, because Florentine over a distance I can create a curve or a curved effect. Turning angle tool, I can make the angles change, but I can't give it a curve all the way down. It goes down in segments of straight stitches. So I'm going to tell that stop. And of course when I want the direction to run the length of something, with the turning angle tool normally I would have to lay one node, second node, third node, because that sets my angle, fourth node. So and I believe I showed you that at the beginning of this set of videos, but I'll just demonstrate it again in case I hadn't. One node, two nodes. This is my angle. I cannot give that a curved edge running along the length of it. I can't even insert a curved edge on it. So if I highlight it and I go into Object Reshape and I click on there, nothing happens. I can stick one here. Do you see that? I can give that a curved shape, but I can't give it the curved shape where I need it. So I'm going to tell that stop, tell that undo, because that's no good to me. Go back up and fetch the turning angle tool and click 1, 2.